Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? Just going to do some double check-in. All right. Looks like we are good to go. Good morning to everybody. Good Saturday morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll wet my whistle. I did a show, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, when we were in Solana Beach 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know. I lose track. But whenever we were in Solana Beach, and one of them, and I had a cup of coffee, and I never took a drink of it the entire show. It was like a 45-minute show, and I had it in my hand the whole time. The thing was full to the rim, and I was just like winging it around, and I didn't realize it till a couple of my friends text me after the show and said, we were just like watching that cup of coffee. You never took a drink of it. You never spilled a drop. It was kind of funny. Well, good Saturday morning to you, wherever you are, waking up to this beautiful world in the sunshine. We happen to be at the home base again this week. It's always a blessing when we're home. We always like it. So wherever you are, I hope you are having an amazing morning. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Christopher. Good to see everybody showing up this morning. We're going to have a little bit of fun today and enjoy ourselves. So I am Jason Cisneros, and I am the humble host of a podcast called Built to Exit. I'm also the chairman of an organization called Built to Exit, a company, which is an offshoot, a branch, a division of Anton Jay. Anton Jay was my private equity firm, built a bunch of companies over time. I sold them back in 2019. The rest of them, well, and then I kept buying businesses. We still buy businesses, my wife and I. Currently, really a bunch of verticals. Tech, we're in tech right now. We're in healthcare. We're in cannabis. And then we have Built to Exit, which is our passion and what we love to do. And that is helping companies like yours. If you own a business, if you're thinking about owning a business, whatever, if you're working in a business, what we talk about here really is getting down into the concept of realizing that somebody else is going to own your business someday. Okay, that could be your children. That could be somebody buying your business. And the other one could be the government or the tax people or whatever. We have 3 types of business or exits that we talk about. The premise is everybody exits. Okay, it doesn't matter who you are. Nobody's living forever. None of us get out of this thing alive, I think, is the saying that they utilize. And so if that's the case, then that means everybody exits, right? That means everybody exits. How matters. So you start to think about that in terms of your business, where what I found when I very first got into business, I hung around other business owners, but I was busy in my singular pursuit, right, of my business. And that takes up a lot of our time and our effort and our energy, and the time, energy, and effort that we don't have or that is spared, that we're not spending on our business, it's on our kids and on our families and in our churches, our synagogues, our mosques, our political stuff, the charities that we like. We're spending time. We don't have a lot of time. And so as I got started, it was just like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do as well as I possibly can with this business. I'm going to make as much money as I possibly can. And and do the best that I can. And that's what I have found with most business owners. We don't have a lot of time for actual interaction with other business owners. We don't have a lot of time for learning, and the extra time that we have. And by the way, that's the most important time that we can have. The time that you spend with me, the time that people have spent with me over the years on this podcast, different versions, obviously, but the time that you spend, I want to make it super, super valuable because I know how limited the time that you have is. And so when you start thinking about what time you do give, I've traveled around to the same seminars that you have. I've listened to the same gurus that you have. I've purchased the books. I've purchased back in the day, the cassettes, right? Given a little bit of my age, the white hair and that kind of stuff. But good morning, Jennifer. Good to see you. Yes, it has been a little while. Good morning, Ruben. Welcome to the show. And I think back and I bought all of those things and I invested in all those things with the intention going, I know, like the conclusion that we all come to if we're smart at all is I am where I am with my health, with my relationships, with my business, with my money, my bank account. I am where I am based on my best thinking. So I know inherently, if I'm an intellectual, smart person, that on the other side of that conclusion is that I have to learn more information. I have to find out who's got the secret that I need to put into my equation. What is the thought process that I need to be able to expand my thought process? Who could I hire that could do what this particular area better than I could? How do you put all of that together over a period of time? Those kind of things, that is the right thought process to have. But then you go, I have limited time to be able to assign to educating myself, to taking my game to the next level, to doing things differently. And so now you fill it with a guru who doesn't know shit from Shinola, right? Or you go to an event that is literally just a pitch fest. Now you've taken that valuable time and you've wasted it. And us as business owners, we look at that and we go, well, it wasn't really wasted because I learned what not to do. Okay, great. Let's not stack a bunch of those together. It's good to read a book and go, oh, I read that book and it's what not to do and etc. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to have accelerators in your life. You want to be having accelerating thoughts. You want to have elevating thoughts. You want to be an elevating and inspirational company. You want to be around other people who are solving problems as you are, which is the great thing about social media, because we can learn about things without going through a filter of what everybody else wants us to think. So then we find our tribe, and we find out the people that not just think just like us, but they are like-hearted and like-minded. And that's what this group has become, right? This built to exit momentum, this built to exit movement has become around, has coalesced and is coalescing around the idea that everybody exits. And if you're a business owner, the rest of the world is set up to put their hands in the pockets of you, the producer. You're the one risking your house. You're the one risking your credit. You're the one risking your reputation. You're the one that's risking all of the things when the world is set up to take away from the producers. There are no bridges. There are no libraries. There are no schools. There is no going to space. There is no nothing unless you have us, the merchants, the innovators, the risk takers. None of that stuff exists without us, right? And then everything else is set up to say, how can I profit from that? Jobs, obviously people that need jobs, they need jobs. Attorneys, they need people to sue. On and on and on and on. You've got this entire world set up around us, and yet we sit isolated from the rest of the world because we're busy. We're busy doing what? Producing, right? We're busy producing. And so this show is really a wake-up call for all of us. And I realize that longtime watchers, again, I had the Bald Avenger show, we had the Chairman Project, we had all those the different shows that have led to what I believe is my mission, and our mission together is to bring us together. I'm not going to we don't spend all day, pitching to you. If you find a reason to do business with Built to Exit, you'll figure it out. It's not a big sales push, but most important to me is that we band together and realize that we have a voice. The more of us that come together, the bigger the voice that we have. So when a 2020 comes along and they tell 60% of the GDP, which is us, small and mid-sized companies, right? 60% of the GDP, 60% of the hiring, that we are non-essential, we could stand up and we would have representatives that would be able to go and lobby on our behalf. So that we couldn't be shut down by idiot politicians who were sitting there going, "Oh, you guys are non-essential. You need to shut down, but we're going to keep the companies that we own stock in and that are going to go up because of less competition. We're going to keep them alive, doing the same shit that you would be doing as a small and mid-sized business owner, but we're idiots and we don't really care about you. What we really care about is taking money out of your pocket, and we care about the power that coalesces around politicians." So that's my rant. But that's what happened. That's what happened. You have to call it for what it is. You have to call it for what it is. Now, that's why, and my wife and I and my team sat down and said, okay, what are we going to do? Well, over the next 5 years, we're going to help 600 businesses sell between 15 and 30 million. Now, we obviously help people sell for less, and we all help people sell for way more, but that's our target. And then if we can help 600 people make that kind of life-changing money, now we'll have an organization that can stand up and say, no, we're not non-essential. We can have lobby. We can have things that are put in our advantage as the small and mid-sized business owner, which is the driver of economic freedom on the face of the planet. We can have things set up for us instead of all of the advantages going to the large corporations that have lobbyists that can get laws passed in their favor to squash small and mid-sized innovation and growth. That's what I'm on. That's my mission. That's what I do every day, all day long. And that's what this show is about. That's why at the end of it, we all go over to Twitter, right? The bastion, I think the exact example of what happens when a true ethical capitalist takes over something and gives us back our voice, allows us the opportunity to meet and to spend time together. We go over to Twitter at the Jay Cisneros. And after the show, it's called the B2X After Party. You'll see it right there on my Twitter. And we have a conversation. And sometimes it's short. Sometimes it goes on for an hour or so. But it's about stuff that's going on in your life. It's other people who own businesses doing not exactly what you do, but owning a business is a unique family. We're less than 10% of the entire makeup of the world. We are imbued with a merchant soul, with a merchant spirit, where our DNA exudes. There's nothing, we can't not be entrepreneurs. We can't not be business owners, right? As Mark Anderson put it. And I feel that. And when I'm with my people, I feel like we have conversations that are better, not better than the rest of the world, but better for us as the business owners, right? As I said, my wife and I are buying, we're selling, we're operating, we're doing businesses. We're being faced with AI. What do we do about it? The changing marketplace. We got hammered by some of the tariff stuff that was going on. It's just we're in it. We're in it with you. Right? And God also blessed me with the ability to want to and the ability to be able to teach. And so that's what this show is about. If you're new to it, I always like to spend a little time at the beginning of the show. And I know that everybody that's been with me, you hear me say a version of the same thing when we start out these shows. But it's important that if you're one of those 600 out of 33 million business owners, if you're one of those 600, most of the people that watch this show, most of the people that own a business you're not my target audience. So you don't have to worry about being sold to because you're not my customer, right? What my customer is, those 600 people that realize, hey, everybody exits how matters. I have a business. I have a core component. I've figured out how to fall in love with the outcome of someone else, right? I figured out how to be better than my competition. I figured out how to be in business. I figured out how to make some money. And you come to the realization that, oh shit, there's only one ending to this game, and that is that I am exiting. I'm exiting the earth when I'm done with my life. I'm exiting this business when I'm going to hand it over to my kids, or I'm going to sell it to somebody else, or it's just going to shut down and your life's work is going to dissipate into the universe as if it never ever existed. Okay? There's lots of different things. The involuntary exit, the dictated exit is almost worse, where somebody tells you what your business is worth. They set the terms, they set the price, they set the timing of how they're going to buy your business, and 50% of those fall apart afterwards. I had 2 of those conversations. We closed this deal 2 years ago, Jason, and now they have screwed it up. They've gutted it. They fired all my employees, and now they just want to hand it back to us, and we don't know what to do. Right? That happened twice this week, 2 of those conversations. And we know how to do it. We know how to fix it. We know how to revitalize it. We know how to take that value and help them build back up. But if they would have sold in the beginning, and in the words of one of my clients, he said, if we would have met you 5 years ago, we wouldn't be in this situation. They're at retirement age. They're in their mid 70s, clicking into their 80s. And they have to take back this business that they spent 20 years of their life building because they sold it to the wrong people, right? They sold it to the wrong people. They didn't understand built to exit premises. They didn't understand. And I asked if I could speak about them. I'm not going to use their names, but I asked if I could speak about them this weekend, and they said absolutely. So at the end of the day, we're in this together. We are a unique group of people. We cannot speak to people outside of our group because they don't understand. You can't speak to a politician. You can't speak to somebody who has a job for a living, and it's nothing against what they do. It's not a judgment thing. It's just that when you are part of a small percentage of humanity called business owner, called being a merchant, then you have to find your people. You have to find your people. You have to find the people that are going through the same stuff, model, learn from each other. And if that's all that ever happened from this show that I do consistently every single Saturday, 9 a.m. till whenever I shut my mouth, and then we go over to Twitter and we have a conversation at the Jay Cisneros. I hope you join us in the after party. But if that's all that ever happens is you realize, oh crap, once I figure out how to build a business that other people want to buy what I'm doing, the secondary step is I need to start building it for my ideal the next owner of my business. Because if you don't do that, there won't be another business owner. I'm just straight up telling you, there will not be another business owner. Your company will dissipate. It'll disappear. It'll go out of business. These are the things that happen. I want those of you who are building something of value for that you want to cash in on, that's your retirement money, that you follow a direct, specific set of steps. And that's what we talk about here. Okay? One of the biggest things, and I'm going to get into to the episode today, but one of the cool things that I love about business owners, and I'm just looking through the people that are commenting live right now. Kevin, my buddy's here, Jennifer, the people that are here. One of the common things about us as business owners is we have the greatest sense of humor, I think, than anybody else on the planet. Now, I know I laugh at a lot of my jokes, but if you're a business owner, you have to learn to laugh or you would cry. For all of the bullshit that we have to face down on a day-to-day basis. You face down in regulations, snot-nosed punks and idiot politicians passing laws that they think are helping people, but they're not helping anybody, right? They're not helping anybody. It just helps justify their waste of space of them being in the positions that they're in, trying to protect the rest of the world with that regulation. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't know shit about Shinola. You don't know the laws that you're passing. You're just doing it to look like you're actually doing something, right? These are the types of things that frustrate me and pull us together. But those are the things that we have to laugh at. Because, you think about, they sit down and they pass these, you've got this stack of tax laws, and we have to live by it. Small and mid-sized businesses have to live by the word of that, because big companies, they don't have to live by that same law. They got a pile of attorneys. They've got special exemptions that take them out. You own an HVAC company in middle America, or a chimney sweep company, or whatever it may be. You have to follow all of those laws to the letter, because if you don't have the protections. You don't have the ability to have those laws written for you. And so ultimately we will, by the way, that's the long term. That's the 5-year play that I'm putting together here, is a bunch of us coming together and going, you're not going to push us around anymore. Those of you that know me, follow me, that that I do rescues of children that are being trafficked. That I work with domestic violence, and we feed people. That the core of who I am is anti-bully. I cannot stand bullies. And I feel like small and mid-sized companies were getting bullied during 2020. I see it as an endemic problem. And that's why we're building Built to Exit. That's the 5-year play here, is that we have a voice in DC. So anyways, I got some slides to go through. I want to give you some education, but the whole premise of what I was thinking about this week, is I was like, what do I want to do with the show, is to highlight the morbid sense, the morbid sense of humor that we as business owners have to have, right? The morbid sense that we have to have. And I'm just going to start it out, right? And I was like, all right, I was like Googling, and I was ChatGPTing, and I was like, what are the top 5 things that when you're up at 2:00 in the morning, I've been there, you've been there, damn good and well, if you're a business owner at all, you've had these 2 a.m. sessions where you're like, I'm just going to Google, some things and go to quiet your mind, because you're running on that line between yellow and red of terror and panic. If you own a business, most of the time, it's like terror and panic, but it comes across in your face as, oh, I've got everything under control. And you've got social media now that you can mask all that shit with a rented Lamborghini and a rented house and a rented whatever. You can mask all that stuff. But I wanted to go through and just take a look at what are the top 5 things that people are specifically Googling, ChatGPTing, searching at 2:00 in the morning. Okay. And this is based on search data, real panic, and raw panic. So here's one of them. Here's question number 1, how to fire somebody legally, but also do it with flair. I love this question as to how it comes together, because as a business owner, if you have, or are a student of us at all, you've heard the term Walking Dead. Walking Dead is a funny way, right? Our sick, morbid way as a business owner to go, oh, I have somebody who we know that we need to get rid of, but I can't yet because list the reason, right? It's the only salesperson I've got. They're the only ones that know my books. They're they have all the keys to the kingdom. They blah, 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 right? We have ways of dealing with this. We're going to go into like one of them here, but there's a lot of ways to deal with this particular question. And so I'll give you an example. And those of you that have been through the Built to Exit system and the growth course with us, you remember this story. But we used to bring people up that would use really bad tactics as I was buying companies. They would use threats, and they would be like, hey, I've been here for 10 years and the past business owner promised me a raise and he didn't give me a raise. And by the way, my cousin Ricky works back there, blah, 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 like this mob scene, right? Where, hey, they walk into the office after I just purchased a business. It's like, hey, it's a nice business there. You'd be a real shame if something were to happen to it. That's how I felt. And I know if you own your business, you have had one of those, gangster type conversations with key employees. They make themselves, they're smart because they made themselves key employees to where you can't get rid of them, but you know deep in your heart they don't have your best interests in mind. You know deep in your heart that everybody else in the organization can't stand them and that they're taking advantage of everybody else. We have a term for that, and it's called a silver A. Long story, lots of other education that you could get if you happen to be with us, but everybody that I know that has run a business for longer than a year or two and has had employees has run into that snaky little late, and they're always lazy, but they have one really good talent and they've managed to burrow like a tick into the operations of your organization. Okay, translation: how do I fire the oxygen thief without them going viral for a sob story on TikTok, right? Now we have to deal with that crap. It's like, not only is this person an asshole, not only are they lazy, not only are they not doing the job, not only are they holding my business hostage, the thing that I put my house on the line for, that I'm spending time away from my wife and my kids, and I'm risking to do this thing. Now this punk that comes in that has absolutely no skin in the game and is just looking for that free ride, that for whatever reason a new generation of people think that they deserve to be treated a certain way and that they've earned the right to be blah blah blah, right? All over this new. And it's not everybody. Thank God there's some good coming up in our younger deal, but you all know, and it's ticking back and forth. It's like, throughout history, it's like it's a buyer's market, seller's market. It's the same thing as far as a business owner goes. Sometimes the economy is doing so well that it tips over to the employees running having the stronger position, right, in that relationship. And then when the economy gets bad, it's now back over to the business owner having more influence over the relationship. We are coming back over because of the economy and because of the way people losing jobs and all that kind of stuff. It's coming back over to the business owner. Thank God, because I think it went a little bit crazy there for a while with all the free money in the marketplace. But now you have to think about it from that perspective. Now there's social media. And even if that person deserved to be fired and did some horrific things to you and to the other people that work in that business, they still can go out and make you look like the bad guy. So we got to be careful, okay? Got to be careful. So if you don't have, here's how you solve this problem every single time. It's here how you have to. You've heard the fortune cookie deal where you hire slow and you fire fast, okay? That's a fortune cookie unless you understand the wisdom behind it. You have to have clear performance metrics. You have to have an airtight onboarding, offboarding process, or you're going to end up negotiating. Real story, true story, okay, of one of the organizations that we were helping. Guy got fired and sued the owner because he wasn't given the allowance to have his emotional, see if I can get this right, emotional support boa constrictor at work. So these are real stories. So I've got some doozies, and I don't know if we're going to get to all of them today, but and got sued because it was like, I can't break. This is the only way that I feel peace. I've got this snake, and I need to have it regardless of where and the suit went. It wasn't that he won the suit, because he didn't, but it was the fact that you had to fight it in the first place. The fact that you had to get an attorney, the business owner had to get an attorney and had to fight this thing, and it took 9 months. 9 months of wasted time, right? 9 months. So got to do a good job, right? Here's the next question. Why am I broke even though my business is doing well? This is a common, frame. Like if you're a business owner and you're watching this, you've had this thought before. You're like, why am I busting my ass? And I'm paying my people, but I don't ever have anything left over, okay? have $1 million, right? It's like the story. It's the rewrite of the story. I got 99 problems, but profit ain't one. I have $1 million in revenue. And this, by the way, this slide, this thought process, this conversation that we're having is highly, highly necessary as you start to realize that you're gonna build yourself to exit. Everybody is an acquisition expert now. All you have to do is go to a weekend at some fake guru's place, and they'll teach you how to acquire a business. In 2 days, over the weekend, you're going to learn everything that there is to know about how to buy a business, operate it, run it, get it financed, all that kind of stuff and by the way, the teacher that's going to teach you will have, maybe sold one of their businesses. And by sold, I mean somebody took their bleeding away from them, the money that they were losing every month. They took that away. It wasn't really a sale. Anybody that's telling you that this slide, again, I could go on for a day because I see the people that tell me, these gurus that have those lines, I sold for $100 million, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, you were $120 million in debt. So what are you doing to pay back the $20 million that you sold the business, now you're $20 million in debt. What are you doing to pay that back? I know these people. I know these deals. All you have to do is dig in and do a little bit of due diligence to find out how full of shit most of these people are. Okay, so $1 million in revenue, but you've got $999,000.99 in expenses. That means that you are just churning cash. Okay, revenue is vanity. Don't listen to even yourself for your own business. Revenue, obviously, it's an indicator, but it's not the key indicator. It's vanity. It's like, I had my first $1 million year, but that slide tells you, who cares? I've had people where we go in, we do the deal, and we come to the conclusion after a deep dive of looking into their business, a $4 million business that they lost $100,000 on. They could have stayed home in bed, eaten bonbons while watching Netflix for a year and have been better off than they were running their business. They would have been $100,000 better off. Right? There's people that are $1 million in debt, $500,000 in debt. What that means is, and after 4 or 5 years of being in business, they could have sat in bed and ate bonbons, right? And watched Netflix or whatever it is that they did, played tiddlywinks. I don't really care, but they could have done all of that. And think about your business now, because this is a reality check. And been better off than being in business for 5 years, right? This is mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing when you actually step off of the hamster wheel long enough to think about these things, okay? Profit is sanity. Cash flow is freedom. Like, free cash flow is where it's at. That's what we teach about all the time. We're not going to dive too deep into it, but your P&L, I would like to say if your P&L was a crime scene, 95% of business owners wouldn't even know something or someone died. I'm just going to say, if your P&L is a crime scene, most business owners wouldn't even realize that a crime had occurred because they don't read their P&L. They don't know what the P&L is telling them. This is some basic financial education that helps you because your business is speaking to you in numbers. You have to be able to take those numbers, interpret them, apply them to your thought process and your processes and your procedures, which most people don't have, called SOPs, and you measure them against, and you go, okay, cool, I'm gonna modify those. And so it's a modification, and that's why your business should be doing this kind of a thing, not up and down and up and down and up and down, and then poof, you're out, right? That involuntary exit. So it's, again, that crime scene. Those of you that own a business, and I don't care if you're a solopreneur, you need to be running a P&L. It's telling you what's going on in your business. It's telling you how to improve it. It's telling you the things that you need to stop doing. It's telling you where you can start to build enterprise value. Right? Enterprise value is everything. And you've got to know the difference between running a cash flowing business, which is goal number one, by the way. No shame in that. That's goal number one, to be able to cash flow and for you to be able to put that in your pocket and to be able to finance your lifestyle and eventually your retirement and your what's next. But enterprise value means that you're building blocks for other people to want to buy your business because you have built predictable cash flow. Okay? Very simple. All right. Where can I find good employees that don't ghost me like a Tinder date? These were real questions put into either ChatGPT or Google or a couple of search things. These were actual questions. I didn't make these up. That's why I thought as I was going through them, I'm like, these are funny. Like these are a little bit hilarious. So where are my job applicants? Why are my job applicants either felons, founders, or full-blown fantasies? Let me go. We made a habit, still do whenever we can, of second chance, right? We like to give second chances to felons. So there's a lot of people that break the law. They don't tell you. You find out later. This is why hiring slow matters, is that you do these background checks, you check into people. Because we don't mind if somebody comes to us and said, hey, we just got out of, I just got out of prison and I was there for 5 years and here's why I was there, but I want to turn my life around. And Jason, I've heard that you do that kind of stuff and you give people second chances, because I'm a walking second chance, right? I'm a walking second chance. And there's ways to be able to allow people those opportunities. But if they lie about it, that's a different issue. There's only really a couple of ways to get on my bad side, and one is to lie to me, the other one is to steal from me. Everything else is kind of I can deal with it. Those two things are sort of game enders for me. So don't lie. Just tell me what your problems are, and we'll have a conversation. Especially in this day and age, if you're a felon with some ambition, you're going to be beating out 98% of these lazy people that are looking to have things handed to them. Founders, which means that they somehow got into their brain that they were or are a business owner at 12 years old or 15 years old, or I'm exaggerating a little bit. But what I mean is the absolute what's the word I'm looking for? Entitlement, I guess, of the younger generation, right? They should just be like, okay, you just hired me. I should now be your president. I should now be running your company. Those kind of things. And then full-blown fantasies are people that just make shit up on their, they just lie on their applications because they don't think anybody's going to check. And they're right. Oh my God, they're right. Most people don't check the referrals, references, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you have to do about that? You want A players, you need an A player system. Systems and processes, SOPs, okay? SOPs. Stop winging it. Job posts are not scroll bait. It's not like you're setting, this is why I thought it was so funny on the Tinder thing, is that you're putting out the for a job post to get quality, and really all it is just a Tinder date. You're lying, they're lying, you get together, you're older than your picture, he's 20 pounds heavier than his picture. You end up with these bullshit connections that are just wasting time. And as a business owner, that's your premium exchange unit is time. Value it, do good things with it. This whole thing, like I said, if you just come here and you go, oh, I need to actually be building my business to exit. Oh, that's an excellent conclusion for you to come to, because you are going to place a premium on what you're doing with your time. And if you are with your time, you are building a business to exit it, that every minute, every second of the day that you spend on that is way better than playing the business like the rest of the people who are going to be out of business. That's 90%. Think about where you're getting, where you're getting your advice, and think about who the people that you admire right now in business. They just may not be there yet, but the 90% of them are going to be out of business. 90+% don't see their 10th birthday. 7%, only 7% of businesses that are ever put on the market ever sell. Of that 7% that do sell, 7 to 11, depending on who you listen to, that ever sell, 50% of them fall apart after you close the deal. You gotta fine tune. You gotta just like keep narrowing down. If it's not me, find somebody else that knows what the hell they're doing. And I promise you, they're gonna have gray hair. They're gonna have a little bit of a sick sense of humor because they've got the shit beat out of them. I've been bankrupt 3 times. Right? I got my ass handed to me in a transaction where they knew what they were doing and I didn't. I then figured out how to do custom tailored exits. I have scars, baby. I have trauma, not just from my childhood and my daddy issues, but I've got trauma from my business owner days, right? And so if they're young and unmarked, they probably went to a great little seminar and they are excellent at marketing to you. I'm terrible at marketing. We haven't done, Anton J and Built to Exit's been in business, like right around 15 years at this point. Do you know that I've not run a single ad? Not a single. I've never paid for advertising. I'm terrible at it, right? I'm not good, right? The only thing that I know is that I find whether it's whatever business I've ever owned, what we do is we're the best at it, and we have people that need our services that talk to each other. And that's how we do it. That's how we've been in business on the Anton J. On the consulting side, a business that is cutthroat with, and we have no complaints about us on the internet. We have nothing but, if you go to LinkedIn, you can go to my LinkedIn, you can see the people that we've actually helped. It's literally unheard of for us to be where we are and on top of it have zero advertising. Now, would we be doing better if we did? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you building a company for your target audience and being the best in the world, right? The best in the world at it, I don't care. Everybody's like, well, you got to be spending social media. You got to be doing it or else you're never going to survive. You're going to die. You're going to be able to, it's a new day and age these days. And if you don't have social media and you don't have the right advertising stuff, you're just not going to be, you're going to die. Everybody that says that, I look at it and I go, well, maybe I should listen. Man, maybe I should listen to that person and go, I don't have very good social media. I'm not doing any advertising at all. Maybe I should listen to them. What do these guys do that are saying this stuff so loud? Oh, you sell social media marketing. Gotcha. All right. Now, you sell that? Show me your close ratio. Show me that you want a $10,000 check for me per month for you to do my job. How about I pay you for every lead that we get? Well, we can't measure that. So you're full of shit. That's really what it comes down to. Anyway, I don't want to go on ranting. How do I take a vacation without my business imploding? How do I not have a panic attack 45 minutes into my my relaxing beach trip? In your absence, if your business collapses or can't survive for a week or two without you, right? It's a prison. It's okay. And again, no judgment because every business has that phase in it. You just don't want to stay in that phase. What you want to do is you want to fix your delegation. You want to fix your documentation so that you can eventually experience freedom. Okay. How do I scale without turning into the villain? This is a common theme. This was when I saw this question, I was like, oh, I thought I was the only one when I was, in the beginning of building my business. I was like, what I didn't want to do was be like any other boss that I'd ever had. I was going to be different. I was going to be kind. I was going to be understanding. I was going to be the good boss where everybody loved me. That shit. It doesn't. Business owners are some of the most sacrificial, loving, service-oriented human beings that I've ever met in my entire life. And you know that, but then you get into business and you're like, I'm going to display kindness. It's taken as weakness, right? They call owning a business a benevolent dictatorship for a reason. It's because you have to make tough decisions. It's because you have to understand that making the call, you will be the villain. No matter how much people say they love you, you go home to your house as the business owner. They go back to their life as an employee of you with other employees, and they talk shit about how lucky you are. They talk shit about how bad of a business owner you are. They talk shit about how badly you treat them. It doesn't matter. Look, at the end of the day, you just have to understand those are the conversations that are going on about you behind your back with your staff. Okay? It just happens. And it's not all the time. You know, we have 30 people working for us, right? But I know at the end of the day, some of them don't, you know, they don't love me like I want. You go into this business. When I was younger, I was like, I want to be adored. I want to be adored as a business owner. Then you go, could you please show up on time? You know, could you please not come in here with alcohol on your breath? Could you please not steal when you're on site, you know, doing a repair? Could you please? So at the end of the day, you're a business owner as a business owner, as a business owner, as a business owner, and you're always going to be looked at like you have way more money than you do. And you're always going to be looked at like you have way more luck than you do. And you're going to always be looked at like you have a silver platter, even though you don't, is what it is. Okay. So you want growth, but not at the cost of health, marriage, sleep, or sanity. Okay. Scale smart. Not suicidal. Scale is the most misunderstood word in the world because most of the gurus say it and they rip you off with it. You got to scale your business. Well, what does scale mean? Well, it's this complex algorithm where the sun has to align with the moon and it has to be blue sky on one side and gray sky on the other side. But you don't know it because it's a very special calculation. It's a very special algorithm that only I know, and you could get it for $10,000 a month. Bullshit. What most people mean when they say scaling is they mean selling more. Is it part of scaling? Yeah, but also selling less could be part of scaling. Scaling is a whole other conversation, which I've done videos about, but just understand that the goal isn't just more, it's more of what matters. And more of what matters in your business is building it to where somebody wants to buy it and taking cash flow off the table as you do so, okay? Systems are greater than the savior complex. If you're still the hero in every business fire drill, congratulations, you are the arsonist. That was a hard one for me to swallow. I would literally, and I went back with a mentor of mine, and we went back through every business problem I had in the first 10 years of me owning businesses. And all of the problems, every single one of them was because I got to a place where my business was running really well and it kind of started to not need me. And my tiny little ego and desire to be needed would flare up, and I would be like, go in and I would break shit in my own business so that I could feel that immature, less than intelligent desire to be needed. If the business doesn't need me, what kind of a person am I? Because I am my business is me. I have an identity crisis. I took my daddy issue and I threw it onto a business, and now I have a daddy business issue, right? Or a mama issue, whatever your issues happen to be. Okay? If you're still the hero in every business fire, if you are needed in your business at all, you are the arsonist who's burning it down. Hiring is a funnel, it's not a favor. Build a recruitment system, not a therapist hotline for people who just, hey dude, I really just vibe with your vision. I want to come on board. You're so cool. I just love the way that you think about things, man. This is like, you're really vibing. Okay. Your financials are your language. Don't know your margins. You're not a business owner. You're a gambler with a logo. I love that one. Delegate or die. Write it down, document it, train it, or be stuck doing it forever. Exit is not the end, it's the point. You are building a business, okay? There's only going to be 600 of you that come to this conclusion and do business with us for us to help you get to that place, okay? From day one, when we start working with somebody, we start, something where it's already being built from day one for the potential buyer in the future. And not everybody, like I said, most of you keep learning. I hope I'm entertaining to you. Build your business, do well, and prosper. But only 600 of you over the next 5 years that are watching me or see me on stage or we meet or you learn about my business, only 600 of you are going to do business with us. And this is it. It's the exit is the point. When you come to that conclusion, we're probably somebody you should talk to, okay? Built to exit, even if you don't plan to sell. The freedom it gives you, it's worth more than the sale itself. I can tell you that from my point. There's just so many beautiful things about having figured this out for me and my family that I cannot recommend anything more, besides being a Christian and giving your life to Jesus, of course. But as far as being on this plane and owning a business, I just can't suggest anything more than coming to the conclusion that you're going to exit, right? You're going to exit, so build something that somebody else wants to buy. Choose your suffering. It's when I get to this slide, I kind of giggle a little bit because there's a saying, and I think I heard it from Tony Robbins first, that said, "Pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice." I've lived my life by that. My home is joy. I've done many shows about how and why that happens. But here it's like choose your suffering. It's more like choose your gauntlet, right? Choose the gauntlet you're going to go in. Are you going to hustle your way into chaos? Like with the guru bros that are out there, and you're going to work hard. You got to have 6-pack, right? You got to grow a big beard. Poof. Right? You got to grow a big beard, and you got to be real jacked, and you got to treat people like shit, call people stupid, call people fat, call people lazy. I don't want any of their lives. I know most of them. I don't want any of their lives. Right? Systemize your way into freedom. One choice is temporary, and the other one lasts forever. That's it. We hope you subscribe over on YouTube. We are getting a lot of shares of the show. Thank you. That is like the greatest thing. The greatest thank you to me and to my team is for you to take a show and go to somebody that would identify with it, that could get a couple of laughs about the fact that we all kind of go through the same shit together, and really looking at life a different way. Thank you for sharing this with your friends, and thank you for sharing this with business owners that are benefiting from it. We hear, every week we hear messages of people like, "I just came across your show, really enjoyed it. I didn't know that there was groups of people that thought like this and that gave away information for free." It's just great to have you. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust here, B2X, from everybody at corporate and everybody that is on my team, all 30 plus of us. Thank you. We really enjoy this. We love producing these shows. We like putting out content that's a little bit different, that is, again, it's not targeted towards, numbers and data and, followers and all, and we want to sell you something, and I'm putting in the right language. I'm not one of those breathless gurus that come to the conclusion, they come to the microphone. This is one of my favorites lately, is these gurus who are like fucking 15 years old, and they look into the microphone and they look in there and they're like breathlessly tell you something profound, like 87 years ago. Like, bitch, that was Abraham Lincoln. It's not you, it's not you, oh bearded guru. It's hilarious. So I like to have a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't really give a shit what people think about me. What I do care about is the people that are doing the hard work of being a business owner. You're my people. I am you, you are me, we belong together. So join us. We're going right from here over to straight over to Twitter, x.com at little symbol, the J, just the letter J, Cisneros. And it's called the After Party. And we all go over there and we talk about our businesses. We have a good time. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, but there's always a lot of value because everybody that shows up there, you should be doing business with. I can vouch for every one of the people that are consistently showing up. I can vouch for their character. I can vouch for their product. I can vouch for their service. And it is a group of human beings that you want to get to know better. Okay. I appreciate you. Have an amazing week. I will be back here again next Saturday, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the ball, or look at that. I was going back to the Bald Adventure show for the Built to Exit show. I love you guys. We'll see you over on Twitter. Go there now. Run. Talk to you soon. Peace.